Hello, I'm Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Tech Support's coming out Tuesday for that bad boy. Today I'm going to be getting into. I'm just reacting. I was watching this clip from this relatively new YouTuber called Fixing Software. I love the tack on it, and I started listening to it and I started yelling. So instead of yelling at the screen, I'll just yell with you guys listening.
I need to be vulnerable here for a second. I think software development actually sucks. And in the last 23 years, I've been an engineer, or 15 of that or more. I've been an IT manager, I've been an agile coach, I've been a licensed Scrum trainer, Scrum master, a project manager, delivery lead, engineering manager, VP. And all that time, I keep seeing these same recurring dysfunctions over and over again. And just to be brutally honest, it's discouraging. If I look tired, it's because I'm tired of seeing the same issues over and over again and kind of feeling like no matter what I do, it's not actually kind of making an impact. And maybe you can relate. So this video really is going to be part rant, part just creating a space here where we can, I don't know, where I can share some dysfunctions. Hopefully you feel comfortable leaving some of actually could be done to fix the industry and what my plans are for that. So what do I mean when I say the software industry is broken? What does broken mean? When I was early in my career, it was my first job out of college, the system that I was responsible for writing was indirectly responsible for our product catching on fire on a helicopter. So this was a huge deal. It could have been a catastrophe if the helicopter was in flight, but luckily nobody was hurt. It could have been one of those, company killer type of situations.
Okay, that's a great experience to have, young and early, is failure, a catastrophic failure. My last video I just put out, I talked about my first catastrophic failure as a software developer when I was 14 years old, and I had the police called directly to my room. Yeah, that was a major failure. At that point, I realized, yes, software can affect the world. It can cause problems that you don't see, that aren't visible and apparent. And if you go fast, you don't know what you're doing, like I was when I was 14 years old, 13, dialing 911 over 1,000 times by accident, because of a software error and because of my fault, because I didn't understand how the whole system was put together, and I was rushing through because it was almost end of summer and I wanted to get through this because I was bored all day and I wanted to find a computer to hack on. Okay, keep going.
Root cause analysis, we found the bug. It was multiple bugs. We found the process issues that we had to plug those gaps. I'll do a whole other video on this whole story because it was absolutely crazy what happened. But when I was able to look back on this with some more experience, I saw the same types of root causes. If you're familiar with the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster and you watch the documentary, you see kind of similar things, like how the profit motive of companies drives engineers to cut corners, to rush. The same exact thing happened in this helicopter fire.
Okay, there's your clue. There's the clue where this is coming from. Business people who do not care about computer technology, whatever the buttons you're pressing back there and taking forever to get this stuff done. We got profits. I got money in this thing. I'm putting a bet on you guys, and you better deliver. And I want to show off to my friends that I did it way faster than they could ever think about ever doing, without understanding anything about what's going on. So this, I'll just be cut right to the chase. This is the zero interest rate policy, the ZIRP policy of like those super low interest rates for 15 years. That's what causes this stuff. And all the crazy, why do people invest in that? Because they had free money. And they found people that could get access to the money printer, which wasn't the tech guys. The tech guys didn't have access to the money. We had to just deal with the people who could figure out the right words to say to the people who said, sure, whatever. Give me, you're saying it's going to be 10 times more when I give it back to you? Oh, and it's free? Okay, here. So anybody that can say, oh, it's going to be 10 times more, they're going to get funded. And guess what? Those people have no idea how this stuff works. So there's my little pre-rant, but I'm going to rant all the way through, because I'm sure you've seen this too, and you're like, why are these people so stupid? It's because they don't care. They don't have an engineering mindset. What are you talking about? They have a let's get sales done mindset, which I have to agree is important for certain phases when you've actually got a product that works. Yes, then you get those sales guys. If they're the sales guys or the guys that are getting the money off the rip, come on now.
Incident. I'm gonna look at my notes. I'm not really gonna script this video. I'm just gonna kind of go off the cuff. But we basically rushed. It was constant rush. There was an immovable deadline.
You're on an immovable deadline, but we're doing agile, right? You're an agile coach with an immovable deadline. Maybe you got the notes mixed up somewhere. Maybe you got the marketing hype. Maybe you went to too many conferences and agile will destroy your timeline. It'll make it so you can get your product faster. Okay, agile will not get you there faster. It'll get you there sooner, but not faster.
Does it sound familiar? It was essentially a death march. We were cutting corners. We were copy pasting from previous other software packages without even looking at the code or testing it.
Oh, that's not dangerous. That won't tank a company or two or six or 1,000.
literally copy pasting it and shipping.
This stuff is so common. This is the way software has been developed in the ZIRP environment. Now, I do remember a time before ZIRP when we had high interest rates. And if you had a software company, you had to prove there was a market first. And you had to make sure your engineers knew how to ship a product, because when we put it on the floppy disk and it goes out and if it has 1,000 bugs on there, we're not going, this company's over. So we're all like, got to be careful, right? When we put the software out, right? That we are confident that it actually is going to work, because getting another floppy out there is $10,000, and we only got $1,000. We got to make it to the next month. So, but the zero interest rate environment came along right after, I guess, financial crisis or something around there. And they started to crank up the money printer and funding everything in sight just to save the economy. Oh, inflation? That's not possible.
Bring it out to the plant floor. Two of the senior managers were bragging to each other about how many hours their people were working, and they were in this little competition about whose people could work more.
Those are the salespeople. Those are the people who have learned, who have no idea how software is actually knowledge work. They have no idea about that stuff. What they've been taught in their business school, which you didn't go to because you did an engineering program, you don't know what they were told. They were told, like, all businesses are widgets. Software is a widget. Now, if you make them work hard, make them work fast, you can go faster and get there on time, and you can dominate the market and take over. And that is the actual error in their thinking, is that they think that if they just get there first, that they're going to be able to hold it. Come on now. You have to get there and hold it. You can't just get there first and they expect, oh, we're done now, and we can just use this claptrap of cut and paste random crap that we found off the internet, and we have no idea actually how it works, but you want us to change it, extend it, and modify it, and make sure it works for everybody, like 99.9% uptime, and that's how we're going to work with it, by rushing people. This is how it works. Well, this is what they were told. So engineering guys like me and him were like, where are these people getting these crazy ideas from? Like, this is a widget. You can just ram it through. Well, the marketing messages from those conferences that were selling those books and courses sure made it seem like it was just ram it through. These people are crazy.
The most hours. So there wasn't a focus on quality. We being the engineers, raised
really no focus on quality. Oh, really?
Said we were concerned. We were moving things through the production process too quickly. We were ignoring issues in the hardware itself. We weren't confident in the software, and those concerns just got swept under the rug and ended up resulting in this issue. I bring this up because
that's the norm. Buddy, that's the norm. That's how most of these companies who come up in a zero interest rate, round 65, round 20, round 38, we'll be profitable in 2 years. It's like there's no path to profitability with the way you're going. There's not even a market here. And the market you think is going to be there is going to be taken by somebody else who has competency in these things and don't rush it through. It's like, guess what? That company died. I guarantee you that company is gone. Yeah, that rush it through stuff, that stuff's over. You got to be careful. You have to make sure you know what you're doing. You can't just have random people off the street writing code, copy, paste off Stack Overflow. Come on now.
Have a profound impact on me, and early in my career, I was able to use that as a backdrop for the future roles that I had. When I see an issue like a team not delivering on time, and I go to the actual root cause, I want to see like what is systemically wrong. Yeah,
the systemically wrong is a zero interest rate policy environment that allowed salespeople to run the machine, as opposed to technical people who had a knowledge of how this stuff is put together and why, and how to make it run properly and perform and all that stuff that has to happen to have a successful business that will work. No? Oh, okay.
That resulted in that, the team not delivering. Or, for example, engineers getting really frustrated and being visibly annoyed or visibly frustrated, or even having a blow up or something.
Well, yeah, when you're told to do stuff that's impossible and like, why aren't you doing it? It's your fault. It's like, no, it's your fault, dude. You can't make knowledge work go faster. You can make it sooner, but you can't make it go faster, especially with the level of complexity you guys are asking for and to make sure everything's done properly. Come on now. But that's what we had to deal with, right? So no wonder people are frustrated. You're asking them to do the impossible and then blaming them for not pulling it off. Like, you said you were a wizard. You said you was a rock star.
To that I'll say have seen. I'm currently employed, and those employers could be watching this video. The reaction that I see is like disciplinary. It's like, how do we correct that behavior?
Yeah. Punish the engineer when he's actually telling you like, you guys are fucking up and this thing's not going anywhere. Like, you can't tell the salesperson who made all the money, who got the money for you, we're paying you, buddy. It's like you can pay 1,000 monkeys to tap on typewriters and you'll get Shakespeare eventually, but you're not going to get it quick with that stuff. Come on.
Is how do we Like, what in our system was so broken that this person that we respect had that response? Why aren't they feeling heard? What?
Why aren't they feeling heard? Because they got a loan. They said they were going to make 10 times the money because we saw this other business that we heard at the conference from a guy that's selling a book and a course saying that we could do it like this, and you better do it like this because then if you can't do it, it's your wrong. Because the guy at the conference wouldn't lie to us. The guy that sold us the course and the training and has the what is it called? They have their consultants to come out and say those guys were those sharp dressed guys. They had suits on. They had presentations with PowerPoints with up and to the right. So they couldn't have lied to us, right? It's got to be you engineers. You guys are too lazy. Work them harder. Stick them in there 60 hours. Get them in there 80. Just slip pizzas over the door, you bastards. You're holding out on us. How long is this going to take?
But what's going on? Let's dig in. So that leads me to what I think is the main brokenness of the industry. There are no systems thinkers in leadership. They don't.
There's no systems thinkers in. You don't say. You're saying there's no engineers in management that figured out how they could get their friends to give them money because they were just telling them we're gonna make 10x in half the time because we got agile. We got the agile council. We put the agile coach together with the 10x engineer who's a rock star.
Really see, and often the leaders were never really doers on a team. They've never.
Oh, they were never doers. Are you saying they were C students? You're an A student, obviously. You're saying there were C students who figured out how to talk really well? They were there's a bull curve of C students, and there's this other curve that were just really super clever but just hated school. But they could talk super well and get their bullshit their way through stuff. Guess who got in charge of the company and hired you, ding dong? Guess who that was?
Been immersed in that type of complexity before. When you have leaders who don't get it, essentially, they don't understand root cause analysis in complex systems.
Why would they? They're sales guys. They know people. They schmooze and go out to the bars, to the back rooms, and get a lot of deals on the golf course while you're pouring over lines of code and APIs. They're making deals, buddy. That's not complicated. That's not hard to do. Now, what you're doing is complicated. It's fucking geek level nerd times 1,000. I love it. But the guys that get the money, brother, they don't give a fuck about that. And guess what? You're not on the golf course. So guess what? You're not going to be saying how the thing runs. Where do people get this stuff from?
Don't have the courage to stand up to their leadership. And
don't have the courage to stand up to the guy that gave them the money? Wait, how is that supposed to work now? The guy that gives them the money, they're convinced on the golf course after the 18th, 19th hole, they're tanked up and signed the deal because they got free money that wasn't really even, they're not losing anything. It's on you. And you're gonna step to that guy? Buddy. Hello. I know there's lots of guys like this. I used to be kind of like in this park until I was like, hey, wait a second. When I started running my own business, and talking to these guys, going, oh, wait a second, what? Because I was running it as an engineering thing. I was doing okay, but I wasn't super scaling to the moon. I wasn't even trying to do that. And this guy's like, and those are the guys that are like, we're going to 10x this thing, let's go through the moon. We just get there. If we get there first, then we're going to, it's made forever. That's what the guys at MySpace said.
Team, then that's what you have. You have these situations. And you see this in what I call FDD. So it's not TDD, it's FDD. And the F it's PG. It's fear-driven development, where team members, what motivates them to be productive, to produce, is not getting the frowny face from the bosses. Well,
what do you think is the frowny? What other weapon does the bosses have? What other thing could they do to motivate the engineer? They don't know how to do the complexity. They're C students. They don't even know what you're talking about half the time. All they know is if you could connect up this thing to this market and get the people coming through the door, they can make $10 a head. They don't give a fuck about the API, what you guys are talking about. Just and they see the only thing they got as a C student is a prod. What do you think's going on? Holy crap, these people. I don't know where they come from. This guy's obviously a very nice person, and he's an engineer like me. So I understand the mindset. Why doesn't he understand the complexity and get involved with the nuance of the customer service demand survey?
Being hounded and bullied by your project manager to shrink your estimate, not being called out publicly.
Well, why? Because we got to make the 10x. Your calls. We're at 5x now. because of all the things you're bringing to me, all the complexity you're bringing to me, and you're asking me how the customers want to. Now it's 5x, and you're saying it's going to be 4x now, dude. You have to figure out a way. It's like over deliver, like over promise, way under deliver, like over promise. 10x. Look at Facebook; it's just a scrolling page of posts. All we got to do is do that, except for mechanics and electricians. That's all we got to do is just do that. Look, it's so simple.
On a sprint thing for having carryover, being berated and threatened with firing for making a mistake, an honest mistake. I think that this comes back.
Why do you think that is? They're about to get cut off themselves, ding dong. They got the free money and they don't know how to put these things together. All they can do is, you guys better get to it or we're out of business because I don't know what to do. You're asking me? You guys are the ones that know how to do this stuff. Why are you asking me? All I can do is whip you. No, faster. That's all they know. What else do they have? They don't know how to do any of this stuff. Come on.
The fact that we just don't have systems thinking leaders in software development.
And why would we? We just had a zero interest rate environment. People got free money for nothing. Why would we have systems level? Why didn't you get the money, brother? Because you didn't want to go out on the schmooze on the late nights and cocaine and all that shit that goes along with it. You didn't want to do that? Oh, okay. Well, because you don't want to go do that stuff, now you got to put up with people that do. Now, thank goodness this zero interest rate shit's over for a while. I don't know how long, but it's going to be over for a while. So the people that were in charge of this are not going to be in charge for much longer. So now engineers like us, buddy, we can come up and do stuff. Yes, there's money still available, but you got to know what you're doing. You have to been through this fire 1,000 times and have this realization that these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and quit trying to ask them for it because they're just going to bullshit you because that's what they're good at. Holy shit, dude. They're not going to tell you, hey, man, I have no idea what's going on. You guys are in charge. If you guys don't figure it out, I didn't know. He can't tell you that. He's a C-level player. He's a C student. All he can do is, you guys, it's your problem. You guys are fucking up, blah, blah, blah. And wonder why the engineer's like, I don't know how to fix it. Please help me.
And it doesn't have to be necessarily somebody who was an engineer. I've worked with really good product managers in particular who are very good systems thinkers. But so many dysfunctions roll down. I'm sure you've heard of this idea of a feature factory where, we strip out all of the innovation, we front load.
Well, they see the other guys with their stuff and they want to do the same thing because they think that's what makes it competitive. They have no idea. These people who get the money in the zero interest rate policy environment, they have no idea where value comes from. They just know how to get a guy to give them $10 million for a promise of $100 million 2 years from now. They don't know anything about delivering customer value. What are you talking about, dude? Where have you been? Why isn't this common knowledge is my question. It's like, this seems so obvious. It's because I ran my own company. It's because I know what delivering value looks like. And I exited and I took 10 years off and I came back into this mess. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Nobody's admitting they're wrong. Nobody's admitting they don't know stuff. Everybody's super, super confident they got the right thing. They got the right thing. That's just the way it's going to be. We have to put this feature in here. There's a feature factory now. If you don't put the feature in, we'll find someone who will.
All of the discovery, any of the creativity, user research, the architecture, we do all that. All the grown-ups go off and do all that work up front. And then the factory workers will get all the detailed specifications and the pixel perfect.
Well, there you are. You're dumb. You're Mr. Agile. That's a waterfall, stinker. Hey, dude. That's called a waterfall. And you're an Agile coach? Buddy.
Mock-ups. And put hands to keyboard and actually do the construction. And then they build a feature and ship it, build a feature and ship it. And the workers never see the impact. They're not looking to the left or to the right of what they're doing.
Why would they? Why would they be given privy to that when the people at the top don't even know what that is? They don't even know why that would be important, or they don't know where the value comes from. They're just trying to get the next round, man. They don't care about delivering value. They're like, what are you talking about?
Right. And again, this comes from the leaders of these companies not understanding the nature of this type of work and complexity.
Well, no shit, dummy.
Quality, you can.
I mean, it's just like wow. There's the forest. There's the trees. He sees none of it. He's like, why don't these people see trees and forests? Why do these people not understand what's happening? It's like, dude, do you know where the money came from? Do you know how they got the money? Will they tell you? Fuck, they won't tell you. You're an engineer. You wouldn't understand anyway, even if they plainly said, hey, I'm a C student. You're an A student. If I look like I'm below than you, you're going to try and get over on me like all these other guys have that have overestimated, have been into these exchanges and know the only way to win is to delay everything as much as possible. That's the only way to win, because if it was up to you, you'd have it done today, tomorrow, last week. It would be already in production. It would be Facebook. If it was it would already be LinkedIn. They would already have LinkedIn, and they're the CEO of LinkedIn now.
Both. You can have quality and you can have frequent delivery. You can have happy customers. If you look at, another, I would say, an aspect of the brokenness is over the last decade, which was the low interest rate phenomenon that created this startup Silicon Valley hustle culture.
Yeah.
Move fast and break things. It just became normalized to cut corners, to rush stuff into.
Well, why wouldn't it, buddy? Why don't you go get the money? You go to the golf course. You go late night, hang out at the strip club doing coke off a stripper's ass, and then we sign the deal because you're a cool guy. You could have done it. It was right there. I saw it because once I exited my business, and it was before the zero interest rate environment. I exited my business like 2005, 2004. I took a long time off. And for a long time, it wasn't like that. But all of a sudden, it did. It became like that. I was like, what is this? And then I realized, oh, this is just scamming shit. Okay, I guess I'll write it out. They crash. You're like, what happened? What? It's like, oh, well, that wasn't going to. You do realize that wasn't going to last. That was like a very weird, temporary thing. Like 15 years of zero interest. That's not a thing. Come on now.
Into production and worry about fixing it later. People who actually give a shit, about the work they do. They care about the output and the quality. They take pride in what they do. And I'm talking about,
that's 10%. When you have such a large amount of money being flooded into the environment, and people are like, oh yeah, 6 weeks boot camp, and you could be an engineer. What do you think do you think those people really care about quality? Do you think they're concerned about the quality? No, they want to put food on their table and go on vacation 2 times a year and have ping pong table at, quality. They think you could, they went to a boot camp for 6 weeks. They don't give a shit about quality, brother. Why would they? They're hiring people off the street with basic JavaScript knowledge. Well, where did all the jobs go? They actually have to make money.
Not just engineers here, but QA folks, like infrastructure people who are keeping the lights on, DevOps engineers, product managers, the people who take pride in their work, but who are not given the autonomy and the space to do it well and do it right. That leads to...
Why would they? By who? The C-level people who got the money for free? You think they give a fuck? Come on, man.
Burnout. That leads to depression. That leads to all
kinds of shit. Why would they care? The C-level students don't give a crap. Why would they care? Your A students, they hate you, dude. They don't like you. They don't like you because you're able to do stuff that if you can figure out that they just got this deal off of doing coke off a stripper's ass, if you knew that, you would go out and do that, and you could take their job away. So you're a threat. Holy shit! People don't see this. It's this. This guy's a very nice man. He's obviously into games and stuff. He's a little bit naive about how the world is actually structured and the kinds of people in it. Even though he's been around these people the whole damn time, I understand because you don't want to think about people like this, man. You don't want to think that they're doing it just for the money and just they don't give a fuck about the customer. And there'll be just another sales thing next week. And if it goes down, okay, whatever. It's not a skin off my nose. I'm just taking a 3-hour lunch. You guys do all the work. You guys are stressing out over this. And all I have to do is say, go faster. And that's it. I'm not going to do a meeting. I'm sit in a meeting dazed off in a PowerPoint presentation. You think their job's hard? Come on now.
Real life human suffering in an industry that should be incredible.
Why would they care about human suffering? Why would they care? They don't give a fuck. Look, man. I'm glad the zero interest rate environment's over so we can actually get some more like real value being delivered and people paying attention to what they're doing and caring about what they're doing because it has to actually be profitable at some point soon. I'm glad because this zero interest rate shit was crazy, dude. It's fucking nuts.
Incredible to work in. Building new things, like the challenge of that.
Destroyed so many people's lives and made them just be, no, this is engineering? Fuck this. Fuck this. And we were like that. And that's the people, bye. Yeah, you shouldn't have been here to begin with. Dude.
The joy of creation, of co-creation with other people, it should be.
The joy of creation? Yeah, that's your joy, buddy. That's not the fucking C players got the free money from taking some guy that owns a bank out to the strip club and show him a good time getting a blowjob in the champagne room. talking about, man? We care about creation. We love that stuff. They don't love that stuff.
Everybody is banging on the door to try to get into tech. And they were for a while, but really purely for the money. So like I said,
well, yeah. Come on. What do you think? Okay, look, dude, I know you love video games and your cutesy little stuff like here, but man, people are motivated by money. Money buys houses, vacations, schools, cars, a nice lifestyle. What do you think America is, man? It's not like this. We are creators and inventors and men of science. And like, dude. Hello. I hope he sees this. I hope he sees this in response to it. It's like, dude, what do you think's going on out here? This is America.
leave a comment below and see what other ways that you feel like it's broken. I don't want to just turn it into a bitch session.
No, it's working perfectly for how, with the incentives that they had. Perfectly. Everything was working exactly as designed. That allowed the economy not to completely fall over after the financial collapse of 2008, where the Ponzi scheme of the free money going to houses had to change the free money going to tech. I mean, you get a little something out of it, I guess.
Essentially, but
I mean, at least we didn't tank over until now.
I do think it's important that we share the ways that we think things need to improve. And on that note, I want to say that it used to be worse in some ways when I first started doing this. You know, I was using RUP, if you've heard of this, Rational Unified Process, where we had to do every bit of thinking and design up front down to...
That's called waterfall. Hello. It's the same old set. There's you're either going to do waterfall or you're going to do agile. And agile doesn't mean the thing that's meant before us. We need to have a new name for it. I'm going to call it adventuring. Adventure-driven development. Every month. Are we going to keep going? That's agile. Are we going to keep going every month? Every 6 weeks? Or we say, hey, is this over or not? Are we going to keep going with this project or not? And everybody knows we got a 6 week window to get something showing something is actually valuable and out the door. Otherwise, what are you doing? Maybe this needs to stop. That's agile. That's agile. Not this design it up front and call it RUP. Big design up front. It's not waterfall. It's RUP. Stop.
To the actual classes and functions, all designed in a diagram. And then the idea is you could wire all that together and click a button and it would give you all of your object-oriented code. But yeah,
wrong. That was a mistake, and it will never be like that. And it never was like that. That was again conference book-driven, consultant-driven development shit that people were so desperate because the actual methodologies to make these things come to life and exist and go and be like robust and extendable. That's secret. That information is secret. How that process works is secret. That is actually the true intellectual property of an organization. Is how you can develop software that people want and do it profitably with as few people as possible. That's called a trade secret. They don't just give that away. Now, because in this vacuum of this, like, how do we do this stuff so it's extendable? How do we do it? It's like, I'm not telling you. And even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. And you wouldn't understand it because it's the people involved. It's the people. It's the people who understand these things. The engineering mindset. Making sure people that come into the company all have that, right? But that's expensive, right? So you got to have somebody with some money that understands how this stuff works. And it's very few. And especially in a zero interest rate environment, it's like, oh, just do $1 million. You just copy the website. I got a cousin. And he's got some people that know how to put together HTML. We can just do MySpace, and we can do a Facebook, right? LinkedIn. We can do our own, right? Oh, yeah, I'm sure you can.
That was horrible. It didn't work. Ultimately, deadlines got pushed, and the developers and the testers usually were on the hook for the death march. That used to be kind of the norm. Big, heavyweight project management processes were the norm, where it goes back to the systems thinking thing. Because
they still are. They still are the norm, sir. There's very few companies who can do Agile. Usually they're forced to do it Agile. Usually the only people doing Agile are like little scrappy startups that are doing bootstrapping because they have to. The adventure-driven development stuff, I'm going to stop calling it Agile. Adventure-driven development is only for scrappy bootstrapping startups or bootstrapping startups who have a bootstrapping mindset. Like, we're not going to make it unless we actually deliver value somehow, some way, some shape or quickly with not a lot of people.
Because leaders, and generally speaking, don't understand the complex nature of
why would they
software development. They have the wrong mental model. They have this model in their heads of like it's building a house. So if you spec the whole thing up front.
And why would they know? Why would they think that? Because business schools aren't teaching this stuff. It's trade secret, man. Trade secret. That means that nobody's going to tell you how this stuff works. And even if they did tell you, you wouldn't understand. Because people have no context. Even in 2024, people still have this, like, we're going to build a house. We'll just design the rooms and everybody will come through the front door. It's like, that's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. That's not how you build it. Sorry. I know you want to. For small projects, yeah. But for anything that's actually delivering some sort of value that differentiates in the marketplace, no, you can't build it like that. You can't. You can't. You have to build it adventure style. I know, it's rough. And the business people are very nervous about this. It's like, how long is this going to take? I don't know. It could take a year. It could take 6 years. It could take 6 months. How long do you want to go? Well, I only got money for 6 months. Okay, so just try for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, if we don't have it, we don't got it, you cut your losses, move on.
And then you hand it off to have it built, and they follow the plan precisely.
That's how it works, man. That's how every company before this ZERP stuff, that's how they did it. They didn't have unlimited funds. There was a Series 69, 75, 100,000 series. Oh, we'll be profitable in 2 years. It's like, we got staff of 100, bro. The testers are all locked up in QA.
And guess what? Every house, it's wood framing. It's not changing. It's the same it's been for 50 years, 100 years. Who knows? You can estimate, assuming that you do a good job specing it up front, you can get a pretty good estimate of what it's gonna cost. So
no, you can't. That's all been proven to be false. That, sir, you need to go do your research. The latest research on estimates is told you can't estimate this stuff. You can know how long you got, what your runway is, but you don't know how it's going to take to get product market fit. You have no idea. Come on, is you supposed to build it like that? No, there's other ways to find out product market fit. There's other ways, but not like this. This is like when there was low hanging fruit everywhere. It might have made sense, kind of, sort of, but even then, it was very specious, and you can't estimate. Sorry.
Still to this day, one of the reasons why I'm tired and I seem frustrated right now, we're planning efforts like this. We think we can do more upfront. The more upfront planning we can do, the smoother the project will go, and we can meet our commitments, our deadlines.
Yeah, I mean, how many times you got told me waterfall doesn't work? How many times you be told, no matter how many ways you rub and you put your the safe and all the SAFE and all these different things, and we can do everything up front. That's the whole managerial idea. And unfortunately, it takes out the low guy at the bottom who has to implement this stuff and put it all together, who actually truly understands how these things work, right? Because the people you designing and stuff, if it was those guys, it would kind of make sense. Maybe. But it's not those guys that are designing it. It's not those guys. It's the C players who pantomiming. Oh, just do this. Just talk super awesome and do some coke off a stripper's ass. And then blame the engineer for not implementing it right. So terrible. But this is what we got to deal with.
And then when the inevitable deadline is missed or problems arise with quality or whatever, the reaction usually is, well, we just didn't do a good enough job estimating.
Right. Blame them. Blame the estimates. Blame it. It's like, you can't estimate this stuff. If you really want to know the estimate, it's going to be like 17 times longer than what you think it's going to be. And guess what? You're out of money by then. So guess what? That estimate's not going to fly. So what are you going to do? You're going to change the estimate so it fits the money. People. It's so crazy. It's like, don't you see? You could just change the estimate and still get the money. You're not going to not get the money. What?
We didn't do a good enough job doing requirements. An actual example that I have, a company doing quarterly planning, and a feature that was forecast, we're talking about 3 or 4 months out in advance, was late being delivered. The company's reaction to that was the developers didn't have the user interface designs in high enough fidelity to be able to break down all the user stories accurately enough. So what we're going to do in the future is we're going to move.
This is how they always try to do it. There's too many people involved. Sorry, I know you don't want to hear this. There's too many people involved. There's too many chefs. And not enough, too many, not enough cooks. Lots of shit, chiefs. Okay, sorry, I got the wrong metaphor. Too many chiefs. Not enough engines. You need, lots and lots of engines. And maybe 1 or 2 chiefs. And not all chiefs. And 5 engines. It doesn't work that way.
User research further out in front so that the designers have enough.
Oh, yeah, do the user research way in advance. Look, you should have done that research in 1969, because by 2024 rolls around, we'll be able to nail all the stuff that you wanted in 1969. Now that you got all the requirements all collected sufficiently for us to implement in 2024.
Time to build the pixel perfect spec so that then when engineers get it, they have all the information they need to break down the work into user stories.
That's not how it works. That was just an excuse like, hey guys, you haven't told us how to put this thing together, and we just went to a boot camp for 6 weeks that told us how to do React. So you're gonna have to connect some dots for us.
And even saying this out loud, I have borderline anger. Not anger, almost. It's just like disappointment that this is the response still to this day to things not going well, is to just...
Well, why wouldn't it be? They're not taught how to do this stuff. You guys are supposed to know how to do it. They're doing the best they can with what they got, which ain't a lot, right? They don't got a lot. They don't know about the engineering and the bits and the bytes and the throughput and what customer needs are, what user experience is, and what friction looks like. They don't know about any of that stuff. They just know how to bring a guy out to a club and pick a stripper and get him to give a blowjob in the champagne room. Why is this a shock that they don't know how to structure your code for maximum user experience?
Do more planning, to do more crystal ball gazing. It's such a widespread issue that people who become leaders of software engineering teams and organizations, for some reason, either they don't have the right mental models, they just don't have the skill set, they don't have the experience, or...
Well, where would they get it from? They're C students, man. They're moving up in the organization. They want to be friends with the C students. The C students know they got to keep you A students in line. And if they take the blame for it, guess what? They're out of a job, not you. We can replace you. There's another 16 React graduates coming out the 6-week course next week. So you go get the money. And then you can say who gets to go and stay. But if I got the money and I got the guy to get his dick sucked, which because his wife doesn't do it anymore. I'm the one that did that. That's Joey in sales. Me and him are tight. So who's really going to be out of a job? Not me. I got the money. Me and Joey. We got the money, man. You're out of a job. It's your fault. So why do you think that? Well, it's a mystery why things are like this.
Or they do have the experience, but they're buckling under the pressure of delivery. Because they're not educated in modern ways, and there are better ways of doing this, they copy-paste. They go find something that their community, you see this with PMP project managers. They're safe in their community of other people. So they don't have to take a risk. They can just take what's in the body of knowledge for project managers. They don't even have to think about it. There's no thinking required.
Yeah. They got their guys set up. And while you engineers are squabbling around trying to figure out what the hell's going on, they got their people. Get it? No? Not clear yet? Okay, let's keep going.
So we fail to apply the correct processes and mental models and frameworks to the nature of our complex work. And you saw this with design thinking, because Google was doing that. So then even a huge company that I worked for, like a Fortune 5 company, they just said, oh, we're doing design thinking now. And all it was their same project management processes skinned with new work.
What do you think? Look, man, you know what happened with design thinking? They got a consultant in because there was a problem. There was a problem with getting these engineers to fucking get on board. The problem was getting these engineers to get on board and understand what the hell's going on. So they brought in a consultant. Yeah! And the consultant, they hemmed and hawed because they're C students too. They're going, oh, what can we tell these people that will fit into what they already know and be somehow different and will solve every single one of their problems, because that's what it takes to get the sales for the consultancy. So they got Kearnsey or McKinsey or whoever the hell to come in to get their C students or get their A students, driven by C students, to give you the message that to get the requirements to get the contract for the consulting gig. Yeah, so they got the contract for the consulting gig, and the contract with the consulting is that you need to change the name of this stuff. You have to change this whole thing to be the exact same process, but different words. Yeah, we're going to use different words and different acronyms and different little same things, different metaphors for the same exact goddamn thing. And they'll be like, it's the same thing as before. What do you mean? It's like, don't you understand? It's a sales process. Those people got sold. Now it's your problem to deal with putting up with what they just got sold as the ultimate solution to all their problems. Where do you think this stuff comes from? It's not academia. Academics aren't doing any of this stuff. They bailed out in the 70s, man. They wanted to work for these companies. They could figure out with engineering focus. They figured it out, and they're building it with this, adventure-driven development. This is what they're doing over there. They're not doing agile Agile got smoked by the Agile TM trademark, copyright, intellectual property, consulting, class, business, certification. That's done. So now we're adventuring. This is what actually does all that. What actually gets these things done is adventuring. Yeah, and guess how much? Guess how much business people who love to get these sweetheart deals, how much they love to hear about adventuring. Like, I don't want to hear about adventuring, but the ones that understand, like, hey, this is actually how we discover and deliver value to customers where other people can't or won't. That sounds pretty good, right? That sounds pretty good. But, getting a C student to understand, like, hey, you can't go do this to the engineers. The engineers have to be the ones talking to the customers, and you have to get the right kind of engineers that aren't just React graduates. So you're going to be paying these people who've already been through these things a bunch, are like sick of it, and they actually are down to, are totally interested in going and doing adventure-driven development as opposed to this, whatever this waterfall skin is.
You saw that with Scrum, and I'll do a whole separate video on this someday. Scrum was basically co-opted by that community of plan upfront project management techniques. So where now Scrum is something like developers, even myself as an engineer, we hate working it. We're forced to rush. We have to plan.
It's the same as shit. It's just waterfall. They can call it Scrum or Ring Dong, a Wing Ding, a Wiggle. They call it whatever they want. It's still waterfall because waterfall makes the business people do the estimates, which they've been told in business school for every single other industry except for software development. Every other, you're building a widget, right? We're just building a widget. Well, all those freaking C student people here is business is just building a widget. They don't know anything about knowledge work, what it's involved, or how that even comes about, or how it's discovered. They don't know anything. They don't teach that. That is a trade secret, ding dong. Oh, you go to school and they teach you how to be the most competitive with the biggest companies in the world. Oh, is that what they do at school? Is that what they do at academia? They teach you how to compete with the biggest companies in the planet and win? Come on now.
The whole sprint up front were measured based on how well we were able to get to complete, not how our level of quality or the scalability of the system or where we were able to meet the end user's needs. Scrum itself was turned into...
Why would they? Why would they? Where's the motivation, sir? Where would they get the training? Where would that come from? Unless you've worked at one of these companies before and understand how things are actually put together that are like meet customer demands and where the focus lies. It's not into round 7 and the ping pong table and we got the best workplace and we got a cafe downstairs. Like,
a project management framework. And even at my time as a VP, we went through the same thing. I tried standing up a more agile product discovery and design development process, and I was told, well, we use OKRs here. So that means we need to define...
Okay. Well, we use the X, Y, and Z protocol. So you're wanting to actually like improve our processes threatens my job. So if you want to continue working here, you may want to change your tone, sir. We have OKRs here, okay? And I brought that here. Me and Joey brought that here. That's our key. That's the crux of our. That's the crux of our position here in XYZ Corp. We brought the OKRs, so you better lighten up on the OKRs, Ben.
And then make commitment to that. And like the inner face palms from that comment. All you have to do is Google OKRs and read Google's white paper about it, the ones who created the OKR framework, to know it is not a scope delivery management framework. It's about setting...
To them it is. And you better change your tone, sir.
Direct objectives and tracking to those objectives. How you do that, features, whatever you build to do that is what's flexible. You let the team kind of flex their innovation, their creativity to try to meet the objective. So
the team? Whoa. We have a schedule to meet, sir. We've guaranteed 10x return by September. Okay? So what is this? No, we tell the team what to do. We're paying their salary, you know.
The point of it is to get away from specific factory style scope management, but companies just they don't have just take OKRs, apply to what is familiar. Yes, it's frustrating. There's ways that we can make it better. That's what I want to talk about now.
Yes, it's frustrating. The only way to make it better is you have to get out there on the golf course and you get the money and you run the show. You get to come. You bet to vet the people who come onto your project and make sure they understand. Like, we're doing it this other way. We're not doing that. We're not doing agile. We're not doing scrum sprinty. We're not trying to get series 99. We're not trying to ZERP it, and we're not, ZERP is over, free money is over. It's like, we're not trying to do that. We're doing this other thing. We're actually meet customer demands. We have to listen to what they have to say. You might have to get on the phone. You might have to get on a tech support call for your own work. You might have to talk to a customer about the thing that you actually implemented.
It's not that I'm claiming to be like, okay, here's how we're going to solve this. There's not a framework I'm going to talk about here. There's not a magic silver bullet for this. But I think what is missing, I mentioned it already, is...
There is, but it's just got to let all that other shit go. And anyone that brings it up, you have to dog the shit out of them. It's like, no, we're not doing that.
Experienced and educated leaders of technology. And educated, I don't mean...
Experienced and educated leaders. That's you, buddy. Are you stepping up to the plate? That's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work. I know. Are you stepping up to the plate?
Has to be college educated, but people in leadership who are passionate about systems. Maybe you've heard of the saying, I don't know where it comes from, but work on the team, not in the team. You start with trust. You've hired people who are skilled, know their work. You let them do what...
Skilled in what? Pushing back on stupid shit? Or trying to implement at all costs and burn the fuck out and quit and hate their job? Skilled at what, sir? Because what I've seen is people like, they get off the boot camp and they've been through college and they've been told what to do exactly, and now they have to be told what to do at all times. Otherwise, they get super lost and can't figure out what's going on because they've been told that they shouldn't trust themselves.
They're going to do. You don't go into the team for really you don't need to. You work on the team, on the structure, on the processes, on clarity, removing ambiguity, the system itself, to support and help grow that team and help them be as productive and performant as possible.
How would they do that unless they've done it themselves and know how it works and have been through a process like this, which is super rare in a ZERP environment because everyone's been through this other thing, which has nothing to do with any of that crap.
Maybe sounds like I'm a little bit of a hippie or something there, but I have done this. I've seen.
No, you're not a hippie. You're just very naive about how the world is put together, especially recently. Maybe he looks like he's about 10 years old, younger than me. He may have remembered a time when it wasn't like this and maybe didn't understand the ZERP thing was like major. It was the whole reason why the tech shit blew up, because where else are they going to put their money? They're going to get 100x return for free.
At work so many times, and it's really what I've made a career out of, is going into struggling teams and transforming them into high-performing teams. Now, often, so I have had some success doing that. Where I hit the speed bump every time is when you go up a level. You can get a team performing well, but as soon as we hit that speed limit and we try to go into the organization and make systemic changes at that level, maybe I'm just not.
Well, why do you? Okay, I've explained why that's never going to work at these companies, dude. Never. You were trying to do something that was literally impossible, and I'm surprised if you haven't made a lot of enemies, because what you're doing is you're threatening their jobs. And you're exposing them for being fucking retarded idiots who all they know how to do is to get Joey from sales into the back room at the champagne room and get his dick sucked.
Not a good change manager. That's where I seem to have struggled. That's the first thing. I think if you're listening to this and
you're threatening their position, sir. You're threatening their job. Why do you think they're gonna push back on that a lot?
You're an engineer or you're a product manager and you've got 5 rated years of experience and you're like getting fired up too when I'm talking about this stuff. You want to fix it. Work yourself into a leader position. Become a manager. I'm in an engineering manager position now. I plan to stay there, even though it kind of sucks sometimes. But I am now in a position where I can enact change, where it's really hard for individual contributors to enact change. What was the other point I wanted to make? The other missing piece, I think, is an actual holistic, active community of people like me, and like if you're still watching this video so far, like you, where we can help each other, we can come to each other with problems that we're having with our teams, with our organization, with our boss, with...
Yeah, you're going to have to get rid of these ZERP fucking companies. That's really the answer, sir. You're not going to fix these teams. You're not going to fix these companies. These people have all been extremely spoiled with this ZERP environment. You're going to have to restart over with understanding. You probably have to bootstrap some of this stuff. If you really are concerned about these issues, you have to raise it down to the bottom, because the structure is built on sand or on styrofoam, and it's not gonna. You can't build on that, dude. Those people are not the ones to build it with. Now, thank goodness, like a lot of people are like leaving the business and like that aren't hardcore into the stuff like we're into, because I've been into it since a little kid. And I think this guy's been into it for a while too. So this is our time. Let everybody leave. That's fine. And we'll find other markets, smaller niches, and grow up, as opposed to try and build the monolith and come down. Okay.
Relations between different roles are communicating together, or planning structures, or centralized admin planning is too heavyweight. We can help each other with things that we weren't trained how to do either. I was never trained as a change manager, an influencer. How do I go in and sell an idea? And if you're an engineer or QA person,
you don't. Not with those guys. They don't want to buy it. They don't give a fuck about any of that shit. They want to know how you're going to fucking do it 10 times faster, 10 times cheaper, or find a way to get the money by getting Joey laid. You're going to have to let those people go, man. And there's a big chunk of companies that the middle layers, all these people who have gotten really kind of comfy on that, and they're not letting go of their position, and they're firing the tech people. And the tech people are going, wait a second, we're the ones building this shit. Like, not all of them. There's going to be a percentage like, hey, wait a second. I can go build the same thing that they were just doing with 20 people. I can do it myself now. And all you need to do is get another guy that's like understands this, that I'm the source of this thing. Well, I'm the one pushing it through, but I need some help. I need some business people to run cover for me. And I don't want to don't want to get Joey. They don't want to do that. They want to deliver value. They don't care about Joey's dick sucking. They want to serve a customer inside of a market, real value, real problems, real services, like actually making something real that people want. There are people like that, but you're going to have to fucking find. They're hard to find, man, because they're so used to this other thing. And they want to tell their buddies, I got this thing. It's going to 100x in a week. You have to let those people go, man.
All the way up to VP, you need those skills if you are like us and you care and you want to be in a position of influence. That kind of community, I don't know of one that exists. So when I said that,
we're building it right now from this fallout. This is what's happening right now, and we're not going to be a huge community because a lot of stuff is straight secret. Sorry. How I got to where I found the market segment that I want to attack and how I'm going to attack it. Even if I told you, they're not going to understand. They'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean caring about the customer? You got to care about fucking Joey. What are you talking about, customer? No, that's way down the line.
Talk about my plan, what I want to do with this channel. I want to build that community. If you have any comments on that, again, any struggles that you've had, please leave in the comments. But more than this, that is my goal with the Fixing Software channel.
I'll leave
the
link.
Do my part and our part, set up an actual community of people who want to make a difference in the industry, who don't want to.
What you need to do is set up with your company, and that's your community who believe in this stuff, because you're not going to convince the ZERP people about any of this stuff. But if you have a successful company and you run something and you use some of the principles that I've been touching on that you are looking for, you do them in your own company, and then it's become successful for whatever that is. And then you can tell the ZERP people, hey, you fucking morons, quit trying to get Joey blowed and like deal with the customers and the engineers who are building the product that are going to serve these people properly. And for Series A, Series 99, like forget about that stuff. We got to deliver value before we even scale this thing. Before we bring another engineer on, we're already delivering value somehow, some way. And then we're going to prove it ahead of time. We're not building it. They will come. They're going to come, and then we build it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, contact me.
Want to just walk away from it. You're not quite ready to go into landscaping just yet. So if you do happen to be...
Yeah, maybe landscaping. Maybe it's something that serves people landscaping in a way they never heard about. Like here in Mexico, here's one. Since you watch to the end. If you have a company here in Mexico that has a way to speak English to talk to your landscapers, a way for a customer to order their landscaping and then have it translated automatically into Spanish and have somebody they talk to in English as opposed to Spanish, that's a $10 million business here. There's so many Americans here that do not know Spanish, don't want to learn Spanish, but still need their gardening done. There's one.
An aspiring engineer or somebody new to engineering even, or you're just kind of struggling to orient to engineering. I have another video here. It's kind of like a reality check for what it is actually like to go into engineering and what kind of traits that you would want to have a successful career in engineering. So appreciate it. See y'all.
All right. That felt good to get off my chest. All right. Like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.